So we've been talking about operations, scale, supply, and the gap in early stage funding for startups reversing climate change. So right now we've got investors who are extremely experienced and focused on carbon removal. They've invested in 10, 15, maybe even more companies, and they're really making a difference in funding and guiding those companies. At the same time, those funds need other investors to invest alongside them to see the opportunity that they see. And so we also have early stage investors that are starting to look at this. Climate funds, individual angel investors. Some people have invested in one or two companies in the last year, but generally for the most part, people are curious, but they're kind of stuck on the sidelines without investing. And the result is that there are terrific startups that aren't getting funded or not getting funded enough. And so if this doesn't change, we're going to continue to have investors that organically learn and make connections, but it won't get the funding gap closed, the speed that's needed, and investors are going to miss out on opportunities to invest. And so we'll lose some good companies and we'll miss out on some good financial opportunities. And long term, we're going to lose out on the tech that we need to succeed for 2030. So imagine we close this gap by hosting an investor summit. So as a new investor, you come in and you get to connect with people who have actually done this before, right? Like, what do you look for when you're investing in a carbon removal startup? What's it like to have a whole portfolio of teams? What have you seen as effective to support the teams after you invest? And so for experienced investors, it's an opportunity to understand those earlier stage investors and say, what's effective at bringing new investors in so they see the same opportunity that you do. That's a way to get even more startups better funded to reverse climate change and more people putting their money into the growing carbon removal industry. So if you're an investor in carbon removal, I want you at this investor summit. I want to talk with you about what programming would be most valuable for you. And if you're new to carbon removal, if it's something that you've invested in one or two companies or maybe none, hit me up. I want to talk with you about what kind of program would be helpful for you as you're looking at investing in carbon removal. So that's my message. If you know other investors, feel free to share this video. And if you want to help organize this, hit me up. This is how we're going to get the funding gap closed for early stage carbon